Hey, what's up guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Meyson. Today I want to show you guys a few tips that will help you get your skin, or I'd say skin texture and skin tones, looking really good when it comes to retouching your images in Photoshop. I mean, we can jump into Capture One later and see one final thing that I'd like to add. But the main reason why I'm doing this video is because I see a lot of people, after shooting, their skin tends to look, or their textures tend to look like really processed and everything, and I really don't blame them. At the end of the day, if you look at high-end cameras right now with the megapixel count, you look at makeup, which is done right now to make the skin textures show and look as natural as you can be, and everything, like everything leans towards having more texture in your images. And why that seems like it's going to give you a sharp image, at the end of the day, that's not like the criteria, for having a sharp image. A lot of other things go into it. It's not just about how pronounced your skin textures are. Now, before we get into today's video, one thing I want to tell you guys is that I'll be using some things from my Retouching Essentials pack. Unfortunately, this is just how I do it. So if you have my Retouching Essentials pack, great. If you do not have my Retouching Essentials pack, at the end of the day, you can figure out how to still do this if you don't want to get it. But I just wanted to put it out there because some people, tend to feel some way that I am showing how to use my Retouching Essentials pack to actually get like some certain looks. But not everything here. Just want to put it out there. By the way, if you want to check out my skin tone lots, links are in the description below. That's how I keep this channel running, through you guys' support. So I really appreciate that. Okay, great. So one thing I can see about this image is that we have different textures. As you can see, we have textures here, we have textures here, and everything. And it's due to how sharp, the camera is. Also, well, that's not why you get variation of textures. It's like your subject's skin. Like we're human beings, we definitely have texture variation on different parts of our faces. And another thing again is sometimes the focal length, or I would say the depth of field, if you're focused on the eyes, then the textures around the other parts of the face might just not seem as pronounced as what's in focus. So focus is very, very important. Okay, now one of the first things I always do with an image like this is try and reduce how pronounced the textures are, which I know it's kind of counterintuitive when you look at what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people want their textures to be sharper and their images to be really textured. I personally don't like that look. I mean, I've been there, and I just like I would say a natural look all around it, right? Okay, great. So the first thing I want to do is reduce skin texture. So I'm going to run this action right here. Before you do that, make sure you create like a stamp visible layer, right? And for a beauty image, I'll literally just use these figures that right here, and I'll click OK. And as you can see, it doesn't look like extremely natural right now. If I'm just going to zoom out, and it's just because as you can see, it has I would say it just looks a little bit blurry, right? So that's that before and after. Now, the reason why it looks blurry, it's not just because it's, smoothing out, not smoothing out, making the skin look softer. It's also because the eyes, are like, I'll say blurred out a little bit, they're soft now. So what I'm going to do is Command I just to invert this and bring everything back, and pick a soft brush. Make sure I pick a white brush that is soft. My flow can be on 100%. You can reduce your flow if you want to. Maybe you just want to take your time to paint this in, right? And what I'm going to do right now is just painting and reduce the textures around the areas that are extremely sharp, right? Because like I just want everything to even itself out. Around here, I can see some textures here that are just really, really sharp. Now, if you can tell, I am not working around the eyes because, I like my eyes to still remain, as sharp as they can be. So just going to even down here, still running here. So let's see the before and the after. I don't know if you guys can see it, so I'm just going to zoom in so you can see how much texture it has softened out. So that's the before and the after. You can see the before and after. Like I said, this is basically not for everybody, but it really just depends on you. So this does not reduce how sharp the image looks if I show you before and after, but what it does is that it just makes the textures look more even. It's not a situation where everything is just extremely sharp, or some places are just sharp, and when you look at the image calls your eyes to that particular place, right? it just seems a lot more evened out, and it seems, you know, more rounded, right? Okay, great. So after fixing my texture, another thing I like to do is just I'd say even out the colors in the image. Now she looks, you know, the image looks really good, but you know, when we shoot with like our lights and our cameras, one thing that happens is that we tend to get like quite a lot of color in our images, you know, especially when you add some contrast to it. You tend to see, like, if you're shooting with Canon, you tend to see more reds and magenta in your image. Now previously when I was shooting with Sony, you get reds in your images, but not as much as the Canons, but at the same time it leans towards the green. So it just depends on what cameras you use. Nikon, I don't know, because like I don't think I've ever shot like a proper studio image with a Nikon camera, right? Okay, great. So one thing I want to do right now is just create a hue saturation adjustment layer. I mean, different people have different ways of doing it, but I just want to show you one way that I do it, right? And I will change this all the way to color, right? So just change my blend mode to color. So now that I've changed my blend mode to color, what I'm going to do is just come here. I will take my saturation all the way up, and I will also take my lightness all the way up. So what I do is just drag my saturation to a place where, you know, somewhere around here, and then I now even everything out with just moving this around, right? So at this point, I know it looks a little bit like desaturated and everything, but I actually like doing it this way, and I like my images or my image to look, you know, somewhere close to this. So this is before, this is after. As you can see, it has reduced quite a lot of the color, you know, around the face. And what I can do is just use my brush, you know, pick a black brush, and just come here to the layer mask right there, and just take it away from, you know, the color on the eyes, because I still want this to be green, right? Okay, great. So if we put both things that we have done into a group, you see it before, you see it after, we don't have a lot of texture. At the same time, we've reduced how red the skin looks, right? Now I know, oh, okay, we've done that, but look, the skin doesn't still look rich. So this is the point where you can just create like a levels adjustment layer, and, you know, just pull down 3 points from your levels somewhere around here, here, and here, you know, somewhere like this. And you've added some, you know, much needed contrast to your image. You can add more points, you know, just so you have more control if you want, but you've added some much needed contrast to your image. So if we see the before and the after, you can see how your skin looks a lot more natural here compared to how it looked when, you know, you had like a lot of color. You it just looked too rich, you know. Some people might like this look, but personally and professionally, I don't think, you know, it does the job. So at this point, you can just reduce your opacity to actually fit what you want. So there's actually a very nice way to, you know, just get your skin looking, I would say, natural, but at the same time, you know, color graded. So one other thing you can do is that I just throw in one of my skin tone LUTs, which I'm not going to do right now since I already used one of my products here. But you can literally just come in here, and you know that your skin tones are between your reds and your yellows, and just mess around. You know, if you want to add some cyans to your image, you can do that, but, you know, just be careful. If you want to add some magentas to your image, you can do that. Sorry, if you want to add some magentas, I mean, you can pull this way. You want to add some cyans to your image. Is cyan? So it's red and cyan, right? It's magenta and green, then it's yellow and blue. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, so you can just add some reds to your image and some cyans right here, depending. Then you have your greens and you have your magenta, depending on what you want. But we're obviously just going to take this all the way to 0. Just going to dial in 0 there and dial in 0 here. But it just depends on what look you're going for. So for this look, I just add some cyans to my image. You guys can see how it's turning out. If I want, maybe that's too much, somewhere around here. But like I said, it just depends on what you're going for. And you have an image that looks pretty decent. So if I save this image right now, and we'll take this image all the way to Capture One. The last thing that I like to do in Capture One, especially when it comes to the skin nowadays, is just generally just add some noise to the image, you know. At the same time, the whole idea is just to make the skin still look very, very even. So let's go to Capture One. Okay, guys, so now we are in Capture One, and I'm just going to come here to the Refine module. And right here in the Refine module, what you need to do is just find the film grain you want. Can you imagine? I called it noise instead of grain. Oh my god, sorry. So just add some grains to your images. So it really depends on what you're going for. I will not go for harsh grains, and the reason why I don't like harsh grains is just because like the whole idea of having my image looking really harsh is not something that I want. So typically I go for either tubular or soft grain, and just add some grains to my image. And like I said, what this does is that it just complements the whole image, like the texture that is already there in the image, and have your image looking decent. Now I know it's probably going to be very hard to show it right here in through a screen recording, but trust me, at the end of the day your images tend to look just a little bit better. So for an image like this obviously is like the before of the image, and right here is the after retouching, and you can see that here looks very red. I mean, even after retouching, it still looks really red and everything, but just balancing out your skin tones and having it look really natural at the end of the day using the techniques I've taught you today just elevates your images and takes your finished products to a whole new level. But anyways, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching today's video, which was just meant to be short, sweet, concise, just let you guys know how you can take your images that are already retouched from where they were or where they are to a whole new level. But yeah, check out my retouching essentials pack, check out my skin tone lots. Everything is available in the description below, and also look out because I'll be releasing my retouching course back to the public so you guys can get it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know if you guys want to see any other videos or any other tutorials, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll probably do like a full retouching tutorial again really soon. I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Have a nice day. Peace out, guys.